Hi pals, Siskateers here. I'm Tony.
And I'm Mary. And today we're going to be talking about our top 5 attractions at Walt Disney World and Disneyland Resort.
Yeah, so both resorts, Disney World, Disneyland.
Yes.
Yep.
So we'll just start with number 5 and work our way up and go Walt Disney World first.
Okay.
So you want me to go?
It doesn't matter.
All right. My number 5 at Walt Disney World is Splash Mountain. I love the story of Splash Mountain, and I really like the length. It's a really nice lengthy ride. It's nice and cool. I can get wet, I can not get wet. It doesn't really matter. But the story behind it, and Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox and Brer Bear is really cool.
Yep, I like that one too.
All right. 5. Am I doing land?
Land?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
number 5, Disneyland is going to be Alice in Wonderland, the actual ride, not the teacups.
Yeah.
Where you get in the caterpillar and you go through her story. I actually think my favorite part is when you come out of the building on top of the roof. I just think that's really cool that you're riding on the roof.
Yeah, it's unfortunate I've only been out there the one time, and I didn't get to do Alice while I was out there.
I think it was down, wasn't it?
It was down. Like, we were in line for it, and it went down, and they were like, we don't know when it's going to be back, and so we were like, well, let's just move on, and then we just never came back to it.
Yeah,
so
that's awful because it's really great.
I know.
All right, so your number 5?
So my number 5 at Walt Disney World is going to be Kilimanjaro Safari.
Yeah.
So I love animals, a big animal person, and so the fact that you get to take a safari ride like you're out in Africa and get to see all the animals and all that, it's just a really cool experience. I've had really cool experiences on this myself, and I just love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so my number 5 at Disneyland is Small World. I love it. I love that it's got that outside aspect to it, because Disney World doesn't have that. It's just all inside.
Yeah.
And so when you have that outside aspect, it just makes it really neat, and I don't know, I just liked it. So it's my number 5 at Disneyland.
All right, so number 4 at Disney World for me is going to be Big Thunder Mountain. It's, to me, a classic coaster, and I just really like it. And it's it's a wild ride. It's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
It's a good one.
Yeah. And then number 4 at Disneyland is going to be Radiator Springs Racers.
Oh yeah.
I just think the scenery and the theming of this ride is the best I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I love Cars Land, and even though it's not super fast or super whatever, it is the theming and the scenery it gets me every time.
Yeah, it's a good one. All right, my number 4 at Walt Disney World is going to be Flight of Passage.
Yes.
It's an amazing attraction. It's not my number 1, although I do think it's probably one of the better rides that
it is.
Walt Disney World has produced. But if you've not had a chance to go on Flight of Passage, I highly suggest that you do. It's worth standing in line for, even for I think I waited maybe 2 hours for it.
Wow.
But the queue is really great. It's got a lot of shade. A lot of it is inside the building, and there's things to look at. It's very interactive. So it didn't really feel like it was 2 hours, but it's totally worth the wait.
Yeah, and it's in the shadiest and coolest park down there.
It is. I mean, the Animal Kingdom has so much shade, so it's just a great park.
Yeah.
So that's my number 4. Sorry, excuse me. My number 4 at Disneyland is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout.
Yeah.
So I love this ride. I'm not a big huge Guardians fan.
Yeah.
So the theming is what it is. I mean, I could take it or leave it, but the actual ride. So I don't know. I don't want to give it away for people who have never ridden it, because that was part of the thing that was so fun for me, is I didn't know what it was going to do.
Right. Yeah.
So
I would just leave it there.
It surprised me, and I wasn't ready for it, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So gonna leave it there.
So number 3, Walt Disney World for me is Toy Story Midway Mania. I love the interactive competition aspect of this ride, and it's Toy Story, so who doesn't love Toy Story?
Right.
Number 3 for me at Disneyland, and you are going to think I'm crazy, but I absolutely love this, and it's Storybook Canals.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's so peaceful, and it's so pretty, and I just love the story behind all the castles, and then when you're getting the story of each character and the different movies from Disney. So I really, really love that ride.
That was fun. I enjoyed that one.
It's really fun.
Cool. All right, so my number 3 at Walt Disney World is Peter Pan's Flight. I love this attraction because it's a classic Disney attraction. It's just one that really, you're just immersed into it, and you really feel like you're in that ship flying over, seeing everything. It's just, it's great. I love that one. And then my number 3 at Disneyland is Indiana Jones. I don't know the
Temple of
Doom,
maybe?
I don't know. I don't know the proper exact name for it, but it's
too.
the Indiana Jones attraction at Disneyland. It's awesome. I was pleasantly surprised by this one.
Yeah.
Because if you know, at Walt Disney World, Dinosaur is the same ride vehicle and kind of the same type ride. However, something about the Indiana Jones is just so much better to me, and I just absolutely loved it.
It's the theme.
It just is the storyline and the theming, and it was just a really good attraction.
All right, so number 2 for me is actually not a ride at Walt Disney World. It's a show, and it's Happily Ever After. Yeah. I just think they really knocked it out of the park with this one. Yeah. With the projections and the fireworks and the music, and it gives me chills and it makes me tear up every time. Yeah, it just does. It's absolutely my favorite. And then number 2 for me at Disneyland, and this is our first crossover, and this is Indiana Jones. And like she said, it's just the theming of the ride makes it just a notch better than Dinosaur.
Yeah.
But the ride itself is really fun.
Yep. All right, so my number 2 at Walt Disney World is Splash Mountain.
Ooh, there's a crossover.
Yep. So we had another crossover. So hers was number 5.
Yep.
I just love, like we said earlier,
Yep.
it just the story that it takes you through. It's a long ride, so you're getting to sit down and rest.
That's always the thing.
It's always blazing hot for the most part at Disney World. So it's a good storytelling ride, and then it has that final drop that is just thrilling and exciting, and you always get cute pictures, and it's just a fun ride. I just love it.
Yeah.
So my number 2 at Disneyland is gonna have to be Incredicoaster.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it is amazing. I was pleasantly surprised by this roller coaster.
And I think we rode it like 6 times.
We rode it a lot when we were out there, like a lot. It was awesome. I mean, the theming of it was just great, and it's just super fun coaster. So that's my number 2.
All right, so number one at Walt Disney World. I know we have the same on this one.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
so,
Tower of Terror.
Tower of Terror is our number 1.
It's just like you said, with Guardians, they're similar, but I think the storyline for me for Tower of Terror is just it.
Yes.
And I guess because it's the original, and so I don't know, I like that story, but the actual ride, the final ride, and again, like if you haven't ridden it, I don't want to spoil it for you because it's really fun. It's really amazing.
It is fun.
My number 1 Disneyland is another crossover, and it's the Incredicoaster, and I think this is the best roller coaster I've ever ridden.
It's good.
If you've not done it, you need to do it.
Yeah.
It's fast and it's fun, and the Incredibles are really great. And Edna Mode is on it, and I love her, and she's like one of my favorite sidekicks right now. So
it's a good one. So my number 1 at Disneyland is Space Mountain.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely loved it. It's so different than Space Mountain at Disney World. So if you've done Space Mountain at Disney World, you are going to be like blown away when you ride Space Mountain at Disneyland. Yep. And if you've done Disneyland and you go to Disney World, you're going to be wait, what is this? Because they just don't even compare to me. Like Disneyland, Space Mountain is amazing. So much fun. Yeah. So that's my number 1.
Yep. So you guys comment down below what your favorite attractions are at Walt Disney World and Disneyland Resort.
Yeah, let us know.
And don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button and the notification bell. And until next time, TTFN.
Ta-ta for now.